Welcome to the show. My guest today is Kenny Wilkerson. So Kenny played in a band called Nova Rex, and we'll talk a little bit about that today, but a lot of our focus is this book that he put together. It's right here in my hand. It's called Rockin Recipes for Autism, and it's a collection of recipes from Rockstars, and it's got really cool pictures of the Rockstars. There's Mark Scott there. And 100% of the proceeds go to the organization We Rock for Autism, which Kenny will explain what that is. And even though I thought I knew a lot about autism, I think I learned a little bit more from Kenny, but it's also interesting to just hear someone's perspective who's dealing with it, because Kenny actually does have a son who has Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism. So I really appreciated Kenny's openness and honesty about this topic. I thought he was great. So check it out. Welcome, Kenny Wilkerson from the band Nova Rex, and you've got a new book out. It's called Rockin Recipes for Autism. And so basically, yeah, I've got my copy here to actually before,
You and talk. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, it's very cool. So it's a great idea. It's Rockstar's favorite meals. I think there's, what was it, like 57 different Rockstars in here from different bands. And my favorite one was the guy from Toto. His favorite recipe was just a Snickers bar. It was like open the wrapper and enjoy and take a bite out of autism. So
yeah, Steve Lukather, but it's Steve Lukather, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? To me, he's almost like a damn beetle. But you know what it is? Steve, he's not a cook. I was really happy that and the funny thing about that, he's a smart man, because every interview I do, they usually talk about his
That's
Snickers
right.
bar.
That's right.
But
because he had to have something that he makes, whether it's cereal or, the grilled cheese. He has to make something sometimes, right?
I say that every guy has at least one go-to meal to get laid with.
Sure. That can't be it.
It is a Snickers bar.
No.
I think I don't know, but he does have a young child, I think under the age of 10, that has autism.
Okay.
So he really wanted to be in it. He said, "I just don't cook. Here's your recipe."
Did you have any rock stars that you reached out to that turned you down or you didn't hear from?
I'll tell you, not really. Because with this particular book, it's my first one, and I just reached out to people that I knew.
Okay.
Or at least I was 7 degrees of, like Kevin Bacon. So I knew the drummer of that band, so I got that guitar player or so-and-so. So
right.
I didn't work that hard. No managers, no lawyers, no labels, just reached out. And everybody that I reached out to pretty much said, yeah, believe it or not, I started off with 80 recipes, thinking that the book was going to be, like a recipe per page.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I couldn't put everybody in. But that's why I called it Volume 1.
Right. So you have Volume 2. So was it, you said that you put all this money up yourself. Was it expensive to make that? And how much of the money is going to the charity? Because is it 100% of the proceeds after you recoup the costs, or how's that?
Yes. What it is, I put up the money. I'll be completely honest with you. It's very expensive. It was right at $25,000.
Wow.
So I didn't really want to do all that begging for money with all those campaigns. Now I did do some pre-sales. Yeah. But it's hard to sell something when it's not in your hand. Mm-hmm. Betting on the maybe, and it took 6 months longer than I thought, and that was because of COVID. I got the book in the middle of that, so that all shipping and stuff got all weird. But no, the people, what it is, I met this company called We Rock for Autism that is a 501 Seattle, South Florida, and they do music therapy for kids. Well, I'm all about music, period. They've taken it out of high schools, they take it out of everything. So I'm all about it. And with my son, who's high functioning because he has Asperger's, but that's one thing he does get into is music. So I can see his brain working, on that stuff, because he has a piano and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, so the proceeds benefit that the We Rock for Autism, and they use music and arts to help kids with autism. So what kinds of things do they do how do they incorporate music and arts? What do they do?
Well, from what I understand, I've only been there a couple of times, but I know that they do a lot of lessons. They put little bands together of these kids, even if they're playing a bazooka. So they just put kids together and they just do music.
Okay. Wow. And your son, is this like a free thing that for parents? Oh, okay. So that's why they need the money, the donations then.
Yeah, they pay for that. Now I told them, I said, look, obviously I need to recoup some of my money back, but I get my money back. Then for me, the 100% of the proceeds can go to them. I'm not saying that every once in a while you need $100 to do something, set up a booth or whatever.
Okay,
but other
sure.
than that,
Yeah.
it's all going to go to them.
Awesome. Very cool. So, so tell me more about, so your son, Gunner, he has Asperger's, which is a mild form of autism. Now, before, I heard you talking in interviews before you had a kid, life was all about you, right? And then you have a kid, and now there's somebody that's more important than you, and that changed your life. So how did you deal with the news that your son has Asperger's? Because I have a couple friends who are going through this right now, where they found out that their kid may have autism or be on the spectrum somewhere. That's got to be like a gut punch.
Well, it's weird. I only have the one boy. Like I said, he just turned 19. I didn't really have anything to compare it to. We didn't really figure it out till maybe he was about 4 or 5 or 6 when we got him into school. And like in kindergarten and stuff, all them kids are just crazy. They're just running around peeing themselves. I mean, it's a nut. So you don't really know what you're getting into. But as he got a little bit older, I could understand that he would, his thing is he's really smart. So I'm lucky that way. Like I said, I've had him in school. I put him in autistic school for a while, his first couple of years of high school. And he had kids in there that were nonverbal. I mean, just nonverbal. So, but the older he got, we started to understand that his social skills is what's bad. He just doesn't know certain things. And then when he was younger, he did all the basic stuff that these kids with autism have, where they're walking on their tippy toes. You get a lot of this when it's noisy. They get frustrated because they can't express their emotions. I look at them now like they're little superheroes. Because, like my son, for me, I looked up to like Jimmy Page, and he looks up to Elon Musk. So he's into a whole different other realm. Now, he plays a lot of video games. You asked me a couple of questions. Really what happened was I thought I was going to have a boy that'd be playing sports, have a lot of friends, girlfriends, this and that. And now I'm just hoping that he can live on his own. You know what I mean? But it's tough because they say 1 in 54 people in America have some form of autism.
Right.
Now, I'm a little older than you, but when I was younger, I don't remember a lot of people. Sometimes you had that one quirky kid in class, but now they have just rooms of these kids.
Yeah. Well, do you think was it underdiagnosed then, or is it overdiagnosed now? Because you're right. I've seen a lot more. Like I said, I have a couple of friends whose kids are being diagnosed.
Well, my son would say that it's just being diagnosed now, that they've been around the whole time. That's his thought. But I don't know. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, that is a lot.
So, and like I said, I've seen it where, for instance, with my kid, I only can talk about my son, but my son is smart enough. He can do the math, the English, and all that. Now, he can't write. He has to use a typewriter. See, the other thing, too, with autism, they're all like snowflakes. Not each kid has the same thing. Like this kid could have autism and OCD. This one could have, anxiety issues and, dysgraphia or whatever they call it, where he can't write. My son, like I said, still to this day doesn't wear socks. He asked for a pair. Now he's getting older now, right? He's a teenager now. But he asked for a pair of jeans for Christmas, and I almost cried. I've not seen the kid in pants since like kindergarten.
Wow.
He wears the same shorts that are like, gym shorts.
Huh. Even when it's cold out?
Well, I live in Florida, bro.
Well, yeah, but isn't there some cold day? I mean, I live in Arizona. We get cold days.
No, I mean, I throw a jacket on him sometimes, but I mean, he still flip flops. I had actually, when we had him in school, especially in middle school, we had to get a note that he could wear flip flops. Because you know how they always say you never wear flip flops at school?
Yeah. But
we had to kind of make certain arrangements. But the problem is with schools, they don't know how to handle these kids. There's no like format for them. So again, with my kid being super smart, they put him in like a special ed class, which he made a lot of friends there. Okay. But then he was too smart for math, so they pulled him out of math class. He's too smart for English, so now he goes to a regular English class, but still has homeroom. But before it was over with, he was all back in regular classes, and yeah.
So what kinds of things helped him besides this? The We Rock for Autism. It sounds like that was helpful. Is there other organizations or books or activities or things that you like, tricks that you've learned over the years?
No, not really. I mean, I would love to say yes to that, but No, I mean, I don't, like I said, he hadn't had a job yet. He's 19. He's never had even a part-time job. Because if he doesn't feel good, when they say no, they're done.
Okay.
I mean, I just remember when I was little, back to school, elementary even, we put on his tennis shoes in the morning, we get him, I used to have to almost throw him in the car. He didn't want to go. So when he got there, if he had a meltdown, then it was pretty rough. Yeah. It got better because he got smarter a little bit, he could understand things. But when he was like 12, 13, 14, going through puberty, which every kid's a mess, it's just that times 10. Everything is out of control, and he's bigger than I am.
Yeah. So do you have a message to parents who out there who may have a kid with autism or Asperger's? Like, what would you say? Is it maybe be patient and things get better?
Yeah, you have to be patient, 100%. They do get better. They don't get worse. And, just because these kids have autism, they're still smart in their head. That has nothing to do with it. It's not like they have something else. You know what I mean? It's just they just have a hard time expressing themselves. So, but the best thing to do is just find more like-minded people. Like if you said to me, you have a son with autism, then me and you would already have a certain bond. It's like being in the Cub Scouts together or something. I mean, we have the same. So that I would definitely with other people. And I feel kind of lucky because, like I said, I have a couple of friends. They have kids that can't even give you eye contact. You know what I mean? They talk away from you. They eat the same food every day. A lot of that's an issue. Yeah. I don't have my kid overeats, if anything.
So connecting with other parents, are you in like a support group or anything like that? Or
I have been. Okay. You got to remember, my son's 19 now, so some of that I'm not in. I'm still online with people.
Yeah. And
I still, obviously, with the cookbook, I've been out talking about autism and raising money and awareness. And I've seen a lot of other kids, and I hear a lot of stories. You think you have it bad until you talk to somebody else.
Like, what kind of stories did you hear?
Well, like I said, there's kids that just can't, that will never be able to be left alone. They just don't have that,
So more extreme cases.
It can be, yeah, it can be really bad. Mine, like I said, I can leave the house and my kid's fine. He can make himself mac and cheese or something. He can do the basic things.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't know. So I got him to do his driver's test online to get his permit, right? Because when I was a kid, I had a calendar marking down the days till I got my driver's.
Oh yeah,
me too. I truly did. And my dad's a car dealer too, so I had a car, 3 months before I could even drive it. But so I had him take the driver's test. He didn't read the book at all. You get the little sample book to read. You do the online thing for like $50 or whatever. He aced it.
Wow.
But I cannot get him to get in the car. He's too nervous.
Oh, yeah, that's tough. Well,
anxiety, a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Panic attacks, anxiety, and it can be over just anything.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's funny. Going back to your band that you were in, Nova Rex. So I watched your documentary, It Ain't Easy Being Cheesy. And in that, to piggyback on this, you're talking about anxiety and stuff but you had anxiety too. Like it really hit you hard. You were in this band and you guys weren't huge. You weren't selling out arenas or anything, but when the band kind of ended, that hit you pretty hard, right?
Yeah, no, I had issues for a couple of years. I was in a band, forever. I mean, since I was 15, 16 years old. So my main problem when this stopped for me at the time, which we ended up taking about 8 years off, and I've been doing it for like 10, 11 years since the documentary. That's how long ago the documentary was. Is that I had no social skills. Not in a bad way, because I'm still smart enough to figure it out, but I never took anybody on a date. I didn't have a date because I was in a rock band. It was just like, you just, at the end of the night, you got your dozen to pick from. That was kind of how it was, especially before social media, when people actually got out of the house. So my social skills were pretty messed up. Obviously, it was me and my old guitar player that did the doc, and he's a mess too. You see, he was on Montel Williams.
Yeah. That was funny. No, that was the guitar player. I thought it was the singer.
That's guitar player.
Okay, guitar. He had like an accent. That guy.
Italian guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Italian. Okay, interesting. Yeah. So how did you, so then you saw a psychiatrist, right? Did that help you kind of learn some of those social skills and get?
Yeah, but did you hear the whole story on that? Remember the deal with the psychiatrist? I went twice and picked her up.
Oh, I missed that part. So you ended up dating her.
Well, I guess you call it dating. But
Okay.
I quit going. Well, I was just weird because I went in there to the psychiatrist and I was like, hey, I've got all these issues. I don't know how to date. I'm having these problems, starting to have panic attacks out of no reason. And, but then I turned it on her, man. I'm a radio guy like that. I was just like, why are you in it? What was your childhood all about? I spent it. Why do you want to be a psychiatrist? Right?
Yeah.
She had big boobs, so it all worked out.
So then what helped you kind of get over that anxiety and the panic attacks, or did you? Are you still dealing with that stuff?
I'll be completely honest with you. When all that happened, I was like 30 years old, and I dealt with it for about a year. Didn't know what was going on. I did come to find out that it does run in my family. So that I have a lot of cousins that are like that and stuff. I think my dad's probably got a little bit, after you backtrack and look at things. And then I was good for a long time. And then about 10 years ago, I had another year where it was pretty bad. Like I didn't want to answer the phone. I didn't want to go to the grocery store. Just didn't want to. Yeah, it was an issue. But,
okay.
It just worked itself out.
It just worked itself out. Okay. Is there something that Okay, you got medicine. Is there something that that you wish that you had done differently with your music career? Do you wish you had done things differently or joined a different?
A million things. Yeah. Well, our thing was too. We were late on getting to the party with the '80s Rockstar.
Yeah.
We're already. Now I'm not saying the band wasn't on the road '85, '86, '87, but time we really went for it, moved to LA, got hooked up, and did that whole run. The music business was already changing. Bands like Warrant were kind of like the last ones that got signed out of that. You know what I mean? And we were there during that. And then, like I said, we were kind of doing our thing. And then in '92, when the Nirvana thing came out, all of LA shut down. Everybody just moved to Seattle. It was just so crazy.
Weird.
And the thing that I would say that I would have done wrong was chasing trends. If you have a trend now, whatever that is, and you're ready to do it, you're already late. I don't care what it is. You're already late. So we were trying to fight that for a bit. Obviously, you've seen in the doc, I took the band to Indianapolis, where I'm from, and we just big fished it for a few years, And then what happened on that, and I think it was even in the doc. It's funny that you brought that up. But I think that I went to a bar that I typically played all the time, and the door guy tried to charge me to get in. I'm like, hey, I'm so and so, whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, it's $5-10, and I'm like, boom, I moved to Florida the day after.
Wow. And is that when you took the band to Florida too? Or did you?
I came first.
Okay.
I came back to Florida first. Now the band, here's how the band worked out. So JP, the guy you were talking about, his claim to fame back in the day when he's early 20s, he's a Canadian citizen, but he's an Italian immigrant.
Okay.
So he didn't go to Canada until he was 18. Didn't speak a lick of English. Plays upside down because he's left-handed, and when in the village that he lived in Italy, the time that somebody told him he was playing it upside down, he already learned a bunch of songs. So he just plays like Jimi Hendrix.
Interesting.
Well, with that being said, he ended up meeting a guy named Buddy Miles, and Buddy was the drummer for Jimi Hendrix. Also sang with Santana. Remember the California Raisin commercial?
Yeah.
That's all Buddy.
Okay.
So JP at the time went and met him in Canada at a club, needed a guitar player, and just somehow got into that. That's when they had the power tower horn section, that whole kind of funk stuff, Crazy. Buddy was crazy as hell.
Okay.
But so he kind of had that MC, or like he had some deal with Atlantic Records with Buddy. So he had a little bit of knowledge. He used to give Lita Ford guitar lessons.
Okay.
So he knew a few things. So when we went out to LA, it was just me and him driving out there. We were out there for a couple of months. And then we were like, hey, we'll just bring the band here. So then everybody flew out there. We stayed there for a while. Ended up going to Indy, running, but I played a lot. And then about 95, it just wasn't really happening. So I moved to Florida.
Okay. And so now you do a radio show in Orlando. And is it true it follows Bubba the Love Sponge? I always wonder what happened to that guy.
He's the morning guy.
Okay, that's cool. Because he used to be on Sirius on Fridays for Howard Stern. And I just was starting to get into him. And then boom, they canceled him off Sirius.
I don't know what his deal is. I'll be completely honest with you. Bubba is out of Tampa, and he pipes his show in.
Okay, yeah.
So it's not like I see him every day.
No, that's cool, but that's cool that he's still on there. Yeah, I was just becoming a fan of his show, and then and then I tried to listen on the app that they have, but it didn't work very well. So
yeah, that's all. That station, that's all new. It's been there for a year.
Yeah. So you interview rock stars and independent artists. Tell me something about some of the independent artists. Like I heard you mention Crownlands and Joyous Wolf. I've had him, Nick Reese, on my show. What other smaller bands have you talked with?
Well, my God, there's a lot. So I do one a week. So I can't really remember all the bands. I just remember the Crownlands because after we interviewed them, about a week later, they got signed to Universal, which was a big deal.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and then the Joyous Wolf, I've seen Nick everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's great.
What I do, I went to a Blackstone Cherry show not that long ago, and all the roadies were wearing their Joyous Wolf t-shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And I know his manager through somebody else. So the thing is, with the independent artists, I think it's great because I remember the first time I got on the radio. And I've interviewed kids. I mean, I did an all-girl band. They were all like 10, 11, and 12. But, man, they were just as good as the Hansons. I mean, at that same age. But they'd never been on the radio before. So it was really cute. That's something special. So I still try to support that. A lot of radio stations, especially in FM market, don't do independence. They just don't touch it. It's not using good ratings.
Yeah.
And then for me, on Mondays, we do nationals because that's where I like to do.
Sure.
Interview Jack Russell. I got to interview Rudy Sarzo, who was like my idol.
Oh yeah, I've had him on my show too. He's great.
Great guy, Brad Gillis, Kenny Arnoff, and all the guys.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, I saw. I think I saw on Facebook. Are you going to the Monsters of Rock cruise? Or you're interested in that event this year? Are you going to go?
Well, I'm trying to play the damn thing. That's what I've been trying to do.
Can you do that?
I've been trying to get on. You know, the thing is, it's funny because they have a thing down here called 80s in the Park, and I know the guy, right? So I'm always playing that event every year. Rockin Recipes out in Montana, which is a great venue. It's the closest thing to Woodstock you get. I call them Dirty Foot Girls. But we go out there every year. I've been out there 6-7 years in a row. But I know that you have, it's a click, man. You got to know.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't have that one locked down, but I've been trying to get it.
Well, that's cool.
But I heard a couple of good gigs coming up, man. There's a thing called Rebel Rock. It's at Singapore Fairgrounds, headlined by Limp Bizkit. Looks like we're going to play that in September. There's another show called Earth Day Birthday. It's in April. Same place at the fairgrounds with Shinedown. I think we're going to play that one as well.
Fun. That'll be really cool. Well, again, the book is called Rockin Recipes Volume 1. Yeah, I got my copy here. I'll put the link available in the notes. And then do you know when Volume 2 is going to come out and who will be in that one?
Well, I'll tell you this. All the guys I just mentioned.
Okay.
Basically, the next one will be much easier for me because I've already done it.
Yeah.
So I can just show it.
Okay.
And I can kind of get them in. But this book, I mean, even with COVID, this book's it's barely 6 months old.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really kind of brand new.
So still pushing this one for a while before 2 comes out.
I think that in a good scenario, depending on how this COVID thing plays out, because I have to get out of the house to sell them.
Yeah.
And I have bands that are in the thing that have books from me as well to sell at the shows, but they have to play shows.
Yeah.
But I figure I'll probably run this till towards the end of the year, and then maybe first of next year starting one for sure.
Okay.
One at a time, right?
Yeah. Well, if you need a recipe for street tacos, I got a great one.
Tacos are always great, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to promote or mention before we wrap up here?
Well, yeah, just a couple things. On January 1st, we cut a new mini single. I sent that over to you.
Okay.
It's a joke, man. It's funny because to do radio, we always make jokes, especially with these new bands. They'll give us songs that have like 45-second intros. 45 seconds before they even sing one note.
Yeah, you can't do that on the radio.
Not anymore. You could back in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. So what we did, I told my guys, let's just write a 30-second song. And that's what we did. And the video's awesome. So check that out, called Raise Your Glass. And then just yesterday, we were in it's a hamburger commercial called Muyaz Burgers.
Oh yeah, I saw that. So is that like a local place or what?
No, it's not. That thing's got it's over 100 locations across the country.
Wow.
And in Dubai and in Canada and everywhere else.
Okay. Cool.
They've been in business since 2007. Honestly, I never heard of them before either.
Okay.
But it's a big national kind of like, social campaign that we're doing.
All right. All right. Cool, man. Well, thanks, Kenny. I appreciate you doing this. Great cause. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. I want to try that burger place. That sounds good. So I usually end with a charity. And of course, this one is going to be the We Rock for Autism. So if you can throw a few bucks their way or buy the book, like I did, you'll get a great book and it'll help a great cause. You can follow We Rock for Autism on Facebook, as well as Kenny's band Nova Rex, and see what they're up to. And while you're on social media, if you can give me a follow and share this episode, that would help me out. Also, check out some of the other episodes that I have on there, like some of the people we mentioned in this episode, like Rudy Sarzo or Nick Reese of Joyous Wolf, plus a lot of people who are in the cookbook. And I've interviewed like Marcus Scott from Trickster, Brian Forsyth from Kicks, and many, many more. So thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. And remember, shoot for the moon.